The old highway diner buzzed softly under the hum of neon lights, the kind of place truckers stopped for coffee and locals dropped by for comfort food. It was late, close to midnight, and the air smelled of frying bacon and fresh pie. Only a few customers remained scattered across booths, each minding their own business. Behind the counter, Maya, a young waitress with tired eyes and a forced smile, moved quickly between tables. She had only been working at the diner for 3 months, but anyone could tell she carried a heaviness she tried desperately to hide. Her hand shook slightly whenever the door chimed, though she always masked it with a polite greeting. Tonight, however, she looked more tense than usual. It started when a group of 3 rough-looking men entered the diner around 10:30 p.m. They picked a table in the corner, whispering among themselves and staring at Maya in a way that made her skin crawl. Every time she turned away, she could feel their eyes burning into her back. Every time she walked closer, one of them smirked. Slow, deliberate, predatory. Maya tried to ignore it, tried to remind herself she needed the job, needed the tips, needed to stay strong. But their behavior grew worse. One of them snapped his fingers at her, another whistled softly as she passed, and the third trailed his fingers across the counter where she had just rested her hand. She felt sick. And what made it worse, they had followed her before. 2 nights ago, they trailed her car for several blocks before peeling away. She had brushed it off, telling herself it was coincidence, paranoia, but deep down, she knew better. Tonight, there was no denying it. Her chest tightened as she approached their table with their drinks. One of the men leaned forward, his smile too wide, too knowing. "Evening, sweetheart," he said, voice low. "Miss us?" Maya froze, her breath hitched. But before she could respond, the front door swung open with a heavy clang. A group of bikers walked in, 6 of them, jackets worn, boots loud, presence unmistakable. They were regulars, known for their size, their noise, and their intimidating appearance. But Maya also knew something else. They were good men, respectful, polite to the staff, protective of the diner and everyone in it. Their leader, Ryder, a tall man with a thick beard and a sharp gaze, immediately noticed Maya standing stiffly near the corner table. Her shoulders were tense, her knuckles white around the tray she carried. He tilted his head. Something was wrong, and he saw it instantly. Maya's eyes met his for a split second, full of fear she could no longer hide. Ryder walked up to the counter slowly. "Everything okay, darling?" he asked gently. And that was when Maya finally broke. She swallowed hard, voice trembling as she whispered, "Ryder, they won't stop following me." The diner fell dead silent. The bikers froze. Ryder's expression changed in an instant, warmth disappearing, replaced by something cold, dangerous, and deadly calm. Behind her, the men at the corner table stopped laughing. They had no idea what storm they had just... The room seemed to shrink as Ryder slowly straightened his back, his presence turning heavier, sharper, like a storm rolling over the horizon. The other bikers exchanged glances, their expressions darkening with the same instinctive protectiveness. Maya stood frozen, fingers trembling as she clutched the edge of the counter. She had kept quiet for weeks, hoping the harassment would stop, hoping she wouldn't drag trouble into the diner. But now that she'd said the words out loud, "They won't stop," a weight lifted off her chest even if fear still clenched her heart. Ryder stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Who?" He didn't need her to point. He already knew. His eyes flicked toward the back corner where the 3 men sat, their smirks faltering as they realized the bikers' attention had turned fully on them. But Maya still whispered, barely audible, "Them." Ryder nodded once, slow, controlled, a gesture that made his entire crew tighten like coiled wire. At the corner table, the man with the toothpick sneered. "What's the problem? We're just talking." His voice was drenched in arrogance, the kind of arrogance born from believing no one would ever dare to challenge him. Ryder didn't look at him. Not yet. Instead, he looked at Maya again, studying her face carefully. "How long has this been happening?" Her eyes filled with shame she shouldn't have felt. "A few weeks," she admitted. "They wait outside. Follow me sometimes when I drive home. I didn't want to make a scene." Ryder's jaw clenched so hard a muscle twitched at the corner. "Maya," he said, his voice impossibly gentle despite the storm brewing behind it. You should have told us the first time. Your family here. Those words hit her harder than she expected. Family. She wasn't used to that. She lowered her gaze, blinking fast. One of the bikers, Tank, a giant of a man with arms thick as tree trunks, muttered, "Been itching for something like this all week." He cracked his knuckles, the sound sharp in the quiet diner. The men in the corner shifted uncomfortably. Ryder finally turned toward them. The temperature in the diner dropped. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Stand up. Silence. The three men hesitated, looking at one another, weighing their options. The biggest one scoffed. "We didn't do anything. She's just jumpy." Ryder took a step forward. "Stand up." This time the words hit like a hammer. The men rose, but not with confidence, more like prey rising in front of a predator. Ryder approached them, slow and steady. His brothers formed a loose semicircle behind him, casual enough to seem calm, wide enough to block every possible exit. Leaving a young woman alone means leaving her alone," Ryder said quietly. "Following her home, touching her, scaring her." The biggest man swallowed. Ryder's voice lowered to a deadly calm. "You made a mistake." Tank stepped forward, cracking his neck. "A big one." Outside, the night was silent. Inside the diner, justice was about to begin.